Alright, so iDubbbz is back in the news, and it's not for any good reasons at all. We're gonna get into everything he's been involved in recently, but first we have to start with his wife, because that's chronologically where this entire conversation starts. Well, his wife decided to wage war with the commentary community on a recent live stream where she produced this clip.
Commentary YouTubers have no idea what it is to work a normal job, let alone put on a whole event.
Alright, so she's like really mad off the bat for, I don't really know why, I don't know what reason. Is the ghost of Leafy is here in this air or something, it's haunting her? Don't really know. I don't know if someone in her chat said something to set her off, but yeah, the idea that commentary YouTubers don't know what it's like to work a normal job is dumb. No one, I think, ever has had their first job be YouTube. Everyone's had some sort of a job before YouTube, at least that I know of. Maybe Evan Gaming or whatever that kid's name is, or like the Skylander boy and girl. Maybe that's your best example, but like, I don't know, man. Most people that I know that are like 20, 21, they've worked some sort of a job before YouTube, and I would say that that's a ridiculous claim to make. But she's referencing this in order to devalue the opinion of her critics who have criticized the way that they ran Creator Clash and Creator Clash 2, because in case you don't know, those are the two charity boxing events that were put on by iDubbbz and Anisa that ended up with them losing money on the second one. They lost, I think, $500,000 in the process of making this charity boxing event the second time around. And of course, because, you know, you're not supposed to lose $500,000 doing that, people are going to criticize the way that they structured it, the faculty behind it, etc., right? The planning.
There were hundreds of invited creators. They got their tickets for free, the event paid for their flights to Florida, and you know these fuckers weren't flying coach. So that's like, what, $2,000 each if they paid for a return flight? And the event bought out the Floridan Palace for $150,000, so they had a place to stay. These creators had nothing to do with the event and weren't associated with the event in any capacity. Examples of these creators include Hassan Piker, Frogan, Jax Films, Denims, Gus Johnson's friend, that guy that made the Anji Polywong Patang Yang Chicka Bang Patang Yang Bang Chinese joke. I find it funny that these multi-millionaires had to be paid to show their support for a charity event. Tens of thousands of dollars wasted so Anisa could talk to her favorite Twitch streamer.
And instead of taking that criticism or whatever, or just like just not responding to it because it's valid, she decides to wage war with the specifically commentary community.
Okay? You have no clue. You fuckers that are looking at this right now, I know that you would fucking cry if I said something to you in real life. I know you would cry.
So not true, actually. I think you are 5'3", and even if you were to stand on business, you would only get up to 5'4", because the business you're standing on is losing $500,000 in the event of making a boxing event, so not much business to stand on. Actually, if you stood on business, you would shrink, if we're keeping it a buck there. But anyway, yeah, no, there's nothing that really exudes fear into others when I look at you, besides this little trim we got going on here. Looks like we walked into the barber and asked them to fuck your shit up. Did Ian cut your hair? Did iDubbbz do your hair? This is honestly worse than that skit he did in the Leafy video where he intentionally took the razor and shaved his hairline back in order to mock himself. But anyway, no one's crying if you like confront them IRL, because like what are you even gonna say? Like, what are you gonna go up to someone and be like, hey, I watched your video, it wasn't nice? Okay.
How do I know? Because I've done it to one of you fuckers in real life, and you have cried.
Okay, so apparently for context here, because I looked into this, she's talking about a YouTuber named Rusty Cage, who I believe she spoke with him at some sort of event about like a tweet that he made or something, and then he was like, sorry you feel that way, and I don't know, it was just like awkward. I don't recall there being any crying from what I've heard. Not that I know much about this, but either way, Rusty Cage isn't like a commentary YouTuber anyway, so not really sure what the point of this is. A lot of this doesn't really make sense. You know, she's got like these odd idiosyncrasies to try to, you know, make this narrative like, oh, the commentary YouTubers, these faceless people are criticizing me and they would never do this in real life. But it's like, Rusty Cage has his face. He doesn't really do commentary YouTube. He didn't cry with your interaction. That's what I'm to understand. So the point that you're making is not valid at all.
Ian keeps me...
Look at the way she flips off the camera too, dude.
Keeps me...
Oh man. Oh, I'm trembling in my boots. I'm literally quaking. Does anyone have a flashlight? I'm really spooked out. It's like I'm in a dark room and there's a monster under my bed.
Ian keeps me... This is the truth, okay? Ian keeps me on a leash, okay? And I'm okay with that because I need to be on a leash. I need to be on a leash. A tight leash, to be honest. Because I am unhinged. I feel like more people hate me than Onision.
Are you fucking kidding me? Bro, next thing you know, she's gonna be like, me and MLK have a lot in common. We were both persecuted for our ideas. There was no internet back when MLK gave his I Have a Dream speech, so he doesn't have to deal with hate comments in the same way that I do. I have literally hundreds of thousands of people criticizing me, whereas MLK, what, he had a few people call him the N-word during his speech?
Sane.
And maybe it's because I'm in it, like I'm seeing it, but that's what it feels like. It feels like I quit college to become the most hated person on YouTube.
Hope it was worth it. And again, like, you're not the most hated person on YouTube. There's plenty of people that are hated far more than you. But yeah, I mean, you do get criticized, and you're clearly not great at taking it. Anyway, she gets compared to Yoko Ono a lot, and she's been like going crazy on Twitter, just like melting down, responding to every hate comment that she gets. So I can see why she thinks that it's like she's so hated, because she responds to every hate comment. She like seeks them out and actively lets them affect her, which I don't think is a great mentality to have if you're on Twitter or on the internet in general, honestly. But either way, so she responds to this criticism that's made of her, that she's like Yoko Ono, right? Yoko Ono is a smart and talented woman who overcame the aftermath of World War II in Japan and went to create iconic performance art pre-John Lennon. She was hated for not fitting into the expected norm for a famous man's wife. It's not an insult to compare me to her. This is like next level copium and cesium. Someone responded by saying, I think iDubbbz and you should just focus on what you're good at when it comes to content creation and try to naturally create a new audience rather than to keep replying to hate comments. You guys are only becoming punching bags by giving them attention. And she says, oh no, people will keep saying the 3 copy-paste comments to me. She's acting like she's not affected, but she's responding to this in itself, so she clearly is. She's like, oh no, what will I do? Keep responding, I guess. I mean, you're asking me, what will you ever do? I mean, it seems like you're gonna keep letting these comments perpetually affect your mindset and your well-being, and you keep replying to them, which is your prerogative, but I'm just saying, what do you realistically expect the outcome to be when you're replying to hate comments? It's only gonna make the situation worse. YouTubers like H3, who shared some of the audience as iDubbbz, were able to stay as popular by naturally creating new fans. This is true. H3 is still relevant to this day, to be honest. He hasn't had nearly the same fall off as iDubbbz, and there's a reason for that. It had to do with the seamlessness of his transition in terms of getting a new audience. Now, whether you want to think that's a grift or not, I think you can make a case for that, but the truth is, he's still around. He's still getting thousands of live viewers whenever he does a show. His content gets exposure and impressions, and there's a reason for that. H3 is not a good example for not responding to stupid people saying stupid things I fear. Right, but at the same time, that's not what he was even saying. There's a reason why H3 is doing better than iDubbbz, okay? And iDubbbz was bigger than H3 at his peak, just mind you. But H3 is also not responding to literally every single anon on Twitter and what they say. You have to understand, when H3 responds to critics, it's during his live show, he's reading them with his chat and having fun with it. Whereas you are offline with 8 likes responding to random anons who are in your replies. It's not productive. H3 does not give them as much attention as you do, though. 100%. I completely agree with this guy. And keep in mind, this guy is not like a hater. Honestly, I don't think he gives off the vibes of an Anisa detractor. You have a show called She Ruined My Career. Don't beat yourselves down 24/7. You can make jokes about the hate, but sure, don't give it that much priority in your lives. I'm not even trying to be mean or anything. You can tell this guy is not even like a concerned troll or a troll in general. He's just sharing his genuine thoughts and feelings on the situation. I think providing some valuable criticism and giving observations that are 100% true. The comparison to H3 is spot on. Well, he references here that they have a show called She Ruined My Career, which is true. The two of them own a channel called Maximum Damage. It's a collaborative variety channel from iDubbbz and Anisa and then Uncle Dane, who I don't know who that is, but they do like Plants vs. Zombies gaming videos, Let's Play stuff kind of, but they also have a podcast called She Ruined My Career, which is a play on the biggest criticism being that Anisa has ruined iDubbbz's career by making him concede on certain things and change his comedy and stuff like that. That's the speculation from the fans, and it seems like he's so like worked up based on that criticism or that phrase itself that he's trying to reclaim it or something, you know, he's trying to reclaim it and use it to his own benefit instead of being something that bothers him. So in order to do that, he's coping with an entire podcast series called She Ruined My Career, and they go on for like hours and hours during these episodes talking about different stuff. And a lot of the clips from these podcasts are them just coping about like, my old content was problematic and you didn't actually ruin my career, I changed. It's just like, dude, I don't really know who's watching this stuff. I mean, clearly not that many people. It's only getting like 5,000 views per, which is insane. They have an entire studio for this too. I mean, like, I just don't understand too. They're down gotten all this money from Creator Clash 2's massive failure. I mean, a literal plunder in every sense of the word. iDubbbz is really not making that much new main channel content, and they're gonna like splurge on this studio and renovate it, and they've got an entire setup, a camera crew, and it's getting 5,000 views. I mean, there's no way this is profitable or very lucrative at all. I mean, I'm sure it's profitable, but it's definitely not lucrative. Okay, I guess they have like $800 a month in patrons, but again, that's like not even that much money. Anyway, though, that brings us into what we want to talk about today, which is iDubbbz return himself. Now, iDubbbz has been uploading some content to his channel, somewhat irregularly. It seems like almost once a month on average is the length between videos. So is that super consistent? In some ways not. The new videos are not getting nearly as many views as he was even a year ago. Even a year ago, he was consistently getting like millions of views, 6 million views on the Sam Hyde video, which I actually want to talk about later. And then you look back to like, you know, about a year ago or like 10 months ago, now we're getting like 300K, 200K, 300K, which is, you know, these views aren't bad, 100%. These are good views. You can 100% make a living off consistently getting those kinds of views. But, you know, it's kind of inarguable to say that he's fallen off, and I don't even think you're taking a side by making a statement like that to say, hey, this guy's fallen off. It's very clear that his audience has turned on him. They've left him to rot. I don't think that's a controversial thing to say. I think it's sort of just an astute observation on the current state of his channel, the status quo, if you will. I mean, like, these views are good, right? But, like, you know, there's a difference between 300K and 3 million, I would say. That extra zero goes a long way. Anyway, though, people are talking about iDubbbz again because, you know, the people who still like him and want to watch him are on this channel, and they're just watching what he's posting now. But it appears that when he goes onto other people's channels that he's very not liked. He was recently on the Cold Ones show, and it says, we tested vintage kitchen gadgets with iDubbbz. Thumbnail looks weird. He looks like a fucking newborn. He looks very doughy, like a Pillsbury Doughboy. But you can see, even with this new upload, right, within 2 days, now we have iDubbbz awkward reunion with Cold Ones. Bro, people are already taking this video and making 15,000 view videos showing like the awkwardness of this meetup, which is crazy and doesn't usually happen. Because for those of you who don't know, Max and Chad used to make content with iDubbbz a lot. If you remember, Deadly Twister was one of the biggest videos on iDubbbz channel, and they had a lot of audience overlap. They were in a similar sort of community. They were doing similar content for the time period. And now that they've reunited, you'd think people would be like, oh, nostalgia moment, but people don't really seem to be supporting it. I mean, it's got a 76% like ratio, which isn't bad, but why is it not 100, right? Why is it not really high? And you'd imagine if it was just an iDubbbz video, the dislikes would be a lot less. The reason this is up a lot is mostly because of the two hosts, you know? And you can read these comments. I mean, they're annihilating him. It's so sweet of you two to invite your lesbian aunt onto the show. She didn't contribute much, but she seemed to enjoy watching you two have fun nonetheless. You guys are lucky he could fit you in between his wife's tattoo appointments. Dude, that's a crazy comment with a lot of likes, and I'm gonna explain this to you for those of you who don't know the lore. The truth is, iDubbbz was unable to attend, I believe it was Max's wedding, because his wife kept making tattoo appointments, and he couldn't fit the wedding into his schedule.
Yeah, I talked to Max about the wedding situation. When he was first fucking sending out invites, I was like really uncertain of how that was going to work out because I had some kind of important plans here in the States. So we went a month earlier to kind of, you know, give him and Kat our well wishes. That's why I was in Australia, and it's kind of also why we didn't do Cold Ones, is because he was ramping up for his wedding stuff.
Meanwhile, Filthy Frank, right, who is now Joji, a multi-platinum, huge pop singer, yeah, he made time to go to Max's wedding. Keep in mind, this guy, I'm sure he could think of a myriad of excuses to not be able to show up to that. Meanwhile, iDubbbz, who is significantly less popular and liked than Joji, he just couldn't be bothered, okay? His wife has tattoo appointments, so he's legit husk of himself, no energy, charisma, or confidence left, super depressing to watch. Does iDubbbz even know he's there? This is like the weird cousin back after years of him being away from family functions because of his drug and alcohol abuse. Yeah, man, so they are cooking him in this, and yeah, just watch.
We use the wrong ingredients because they will be like needed for a future product.
Oh, I got pizza bases. I got pizza bases. Come on, Darcy. You could have just given us flour. We could have made this shit from scratch.
Like, I don't want to be here till fucking 3 a.m.
So what the fuck do we do? Do we have a PowerPoint somewhere,
Yeah, it's
Darcy?
in the instructions, Chad. Also, isn't Ian meant to be back in the middle?
Yeah, you're a head chef
Yeah.
on this one.
Also, we're going to shave your head later. Remove element from base.
face and make.
Does he say anything? Is this guy nonverbal? Did he go nonverbal during COVID? I feel like he's just standing there like a mannequin, not saying anything, like a scarecrow. But there's no crows that need to be scared. You're not a scarecrow, you're a scare hoe. You're scaring the hoes, bro. And by hoes, I mean viewers, bro.
Wait a minute. Where's that cheese? We got.
Look at him, he's like developmentally challenged now. Does he say anything?
Yeah, grab that shit out. All my preparation.
I'm clicking around. Does he say anything in this video?
Uncle at the barbecue.
Literally nothing. Okay, great. You'd think a reunion like this would be awesome, but it's just not. And a lot of people hate on iDubbbz's new content, which is fair. But even 2 years ago, when people were saying his fall off was already set into motion, he made this video, which I didn't like it because it was kind of agenda-driven against Sam Hyde, and I do like Sam. Obviously, you can criticize him, but I think this video was not the best at criticizing him. But it was very well made, got 6 million views, and it was pretty obvious that he could do this again if he really tried and put some work into it. And we could be doing a lot better than he is now. He could maybe reverse the fall off. And the way to reverse the fall off is definitely not with collaborations like this, where you're barely even present and you're like a zombie. Anyway, though, funny Sam Hyde clip to end things off. How about that?
I type OMW and it's for on my way, and it types capital on my way exclamation point. Oh, so it's got a little bit of a flair. On my way. On my way. Chris, are you at the office, Chris? I'm on my way. I type OMW and it's
anyway,
for on my way.
Funny clip there. If you guys ended up enjoying this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Follow my social medias. Links are all down below. And I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.